My resolve remains strong, and I intend to prove that the allegations against me are false. My life and career will not be defined by this moment in time. November 6th, Johnny Depp, 2020. Welcome to the Pig Spot Movie Podcast. I'm your host this episode, Toby. And with me, I'm joined by had his little finger largely removed by a bottle, Lucas.
Oh no, we're not doing this, are we? Oh no.
Allegedly had his finger. Allegedly. And I don't know, domestic abuse, Jesse. You just straight up domestic abuse, Jesse.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I've seen the police reports. We're not going to get too political on our topic of conversation this episode, because of course that could lead down a rabbit hole. But what we are going to discuss is briefly the fact that Johnny Depp has been let go, resigned, fired, however you want to read it, from his Warner Brothers contract. And we're going to look at actors who have been fired, let go, released from contract, booted out the door for a multitude of reasons. It's an interesting topic, and I've got a pretty good list, so I think we're going to have some fun with it. And there's a few surprises, actually. I had a quick flick through it, and I was like, I didn't know that, so it should be good. But before we get into all of that, we've got a bunch of news. Some of it's sad, some of it's really exciting. Some of it, Lucas is literally going to be frothing at, like literal froth on the side of the mouth, which I'm looking forward to.
Also, there's one piece of news that Ethan can't be here for, and it's amazing.
It is amazing for Ethan and other horrible people.
This is the part where Toby goes, and take us away, Toby.
And take us away, Toby. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so first up, it appears that the Marvel TV series Moon Knight is moving forward, and they have hired Mohammed Diab to direct.
I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about this guy, so this is actually pretty cool. So I'm just reading his blurb on IMDb. Apparently, a lot of his work is often centered on pressing issues concerning Egyptian society. So, for those that know about Moon Knight and all the relevant Egyptian, basically all the Egyptian stuff that is in the series and in the comics, it makes sense they would kind of hire someone who's very finger on the pulse when it comes to Egyptian content. Not content, but issues and that type of thing.
Tomb Raider 2 loses its 2021 release date and has now been delayed indefinitely.
I think this kind of makes sense based purely in the world that we live in now. I feel like a lot of these things that have been announced previously, parts of franchises, that type of thing, we've already seen it with Marvel. We're seeing it with DC. I
don't want to derail, but could you guys give me your quick thoughts on how long do you think cinemas globally, not just Australia, because we're obviously bouncing back here, how long do you think cinemas globally can go without films? I mean, we've already seen some bankruptcies and all the rest of it. And again, really quickly, what's going to happen afterwards?
I don't know. I mean, you can already see the danger of what's happened with cinemas being closed for extended periods in America, especially with the whole the taxpayer bailout that Disney saw, and then the fight they had with cinema chains over that. So I don't know. I feel like it's definitely not a viable thing for them to keep going without movies.
Yeah, and I mean, without these cinemas, how are you gonna, justify big budgets? How are you gonna justify a $500 million budget or whatever, even a $100 million budget, when the best you could hope for is maybe a quick sale to Netflix for $5 million?
So I think it's also a psychological thing too. Look at the big powerhouse that Marvel is. Marvel was an event. People went to the cinemas to see Marvel movies, Endgame, Infinity War. That was an event. It doesn't feel like an event when you're not surrounded by hundreds of people when you're in your living room. It's still an awesome, fantastic movie,
absolutely,
but it's not an event. And so I think that'll see big franchises lose steam and lose interest in the end. And I think people will be like, it's just another movie.
It's really interesting too, because there's been reports going around that America's largest cinema chain, AMC, is going to be going under.
And might be picked up by Amazon. I think we mentioned on one other podcast, or they were looking at it.
Yeah, but every day it looks like it slowly gets closer to reality that could happen, which is insane.
Anyway, we shouldn't dwell. We have a trailer for The Midnight Sky starring George Clooney that Ethan has linked. I didn't watch this trailer. Did either of you gents catch it?
Oh, this is the Netflix one.
Yes.
Yeah. This looked kind of cool. I don't really remember a lot of it because I remember when it first came out, I watched the trailer for it, but I don't remember a whole bunch about it. But it looks really cool. That was one that apparently as well they're going to be doing. Funnily enough, speaking of cinemas, they're doing a cinema release for it before they drop it on Netflix.
Well, we'll include that. We'll include that trailer in the article that goes with the podcast anyway. So,
I think that's just exclusively in the States, though. I think here it's going straight to Netflix.
Yeah, which is odd because our cinema situation is arguably better than the States at the moment.
Absolutely, you would think that. You would think if the movie wants to make money, they'd drop it in cities and stuff like like Australia and New Zealand.
I guess they might be worried about piracy.
I mean, it's Netflix. Netflix has never worried about piracy before.
Yeah, true. Look, here's some interesting news that definitely got a reaction out of Lucas. Word is, according to Screen Rant, Patrick Wilson, who starred in the original 2 Insidious films, is back to direct Insidious 5.
And
dun, dun, dun.
It's going to be set 10 years after Insidious 2.
Yeah. So it's more of a direct sequel and ignoring... because 3 was a prequel anyway, and then 4 focused more on the investigator, so it must have been a prequel as well.
Yeah, so 3 was a prequel to the first movie.
Yeah.
And then 4 was the prequel explaining the story of the medium. So this one is essentially going to be... This one's technically going to be Insidious 3 in the canon.
Yes.
But it's going to be the 5th film, so...
Yeah, that's really cool.
I'm super hyped for this.
I'm super excited. I remember being in the cinema seeing the first Insidious, and it's like, I'm glad to see Insidious has survived this long because it is so good. But I really hope that this one will also kind of wash away some of the negative things that have come out of the all the James Wan horror franchises now. Like the Conjuring franchise has some pretty awful entries, like in its entries. So.
Yeah, it'd be good.
I was going to say, Patrick Wilson coming back. Patrick Wilson not only coming back, but doing direction. This is the first time he's directing, right?
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. I don't anything big, anyway.
Yeah, I think he directed an indie film that I've got of his, but I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure that he might have directed once before.
Yeah, still. Interesting stuff. We got some sad news, and that is, I believe, is he a sir? I'm not sure if he was a sir. I think he was a sir. Yeah, Sir Sean Connery has passed away at the age of 90. So a lot of tributes sort of flowed out for the James Bond star, and of course we know him from Highlander and Indiana Jones and a whole bunch of other films.
Can't make that list without mentioning James Bond.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, I did say the James Bond actor, so yeah, it's a blow. I mean, I hope he had a good retirement though, because he was pretty much drew a hard line in the sand, and sort of whatever it was at 60 or 65 or 70, he just walked away. He did League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and then walked away. Yeah,
I was going to say he stopped at League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, but that was great that he chose to do that, and I sincerely hope that he enjoyed his retirement, and he obviously left a huge body of work behind for people to enjoy. So sad loss, but it's going to happen, and there's going to be more of them coming.
I think that when I saw that Sean Connery passed away, I was saying to someone that to me the saddest thing wasn't necessarily just his film work, but all the stuff that he did to help Scottish actors in the film industry as well. Like he set up foundations, he opened the door for like a bunch of actors to come over from the UK to get into the Hollywood system. Like he's got a long-standing legacy that people don't even necessarily see on the surface. So yeah, he's a pretty important icon of his time.
He was.
Yeah, big figurehead in Scottish film for sure.
On something a bit more upbeat, not only are we getting a Dungeons and Dragons movie, apparently now we're also getting a live-action TV show as well, based on the popular role-playing game.
Have they said where this is going to be placed? Is it like Amazon or Netflix?
Well, I don't. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Hasbro has any pre-existing contracts.
They also do have a standing deal with Netflix because they're producing all the new animated Transformers stuff. So
that's true. That's true.
Could very well go to Netflix, but then you run into the issue of you've got Dungeons and Dragons and you've got The Witcher. You know what I mean?
I don't think that's a huge problem. I think they're different enough, and it's really going to depend on how they come at this show, to be honest. Because the previous 3 movies were pretty bad, to be honest. The first one had a few laughs, and it was okay. The second one felt more like a actual game of D&D, but it was just cheap.
So,
and the third one was just soft porn.
Like, the second one was like really, really high budget fan film.
Today I learned there is a third Dungeons and Dragons film.
Yeah, and it's soft porn.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It follows an evil party, and they do evil things, and it's just half the time they're having sex. It's just soft porn. It's terrible.
Yes.
It's terrible.
The classic villainy of looting and pillaging and then having lots of sex afterwards.
Yeah, and I don't know. Anyway, obviously they got a lot of work to, it won't bother so much because obviously 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons has seen a huge influx of new players into the hobby, and so I imagine this is going to be more geared towards them, not the bitter, twisted old farts like myself who have been playing since the 80s or earlier. So I don't think this... I'm hoping this isn't going to be the crap that we've seen in years gone past. But you never know. Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast have fucked things up before. Gotham star Alan Donald Logue is apparently joining the Resident Evil Origin movie, which is a reboot of the Resident Evil movie series.
Man. So, like, Donald Logue is having this just insane career resurgence from Gotham.
Yeah, he was really good in that.
And then obviously off the back of that, I think just before he did that, he was in Sons of Anarchy for a little while too. So, yeah, like, it's just crazy to see this career resurgence that he's having. And now the fact he's going to be a lead in possibly, like, one of the biggest... Like, this movie's going to have a lot of eyes on it. Especially from the previous films. No, people don't want that anymore. They want a straight up traditional Resident Evil film.
Well, which is what we're getting. This is supposed to be
which sounds like what we're getting.
Yeah, there's a lot of casting on it already, and it's meant to take place on a fateful night, quote, in Raccoon City, 1998. So it's designed to really capture. So I imagine it's going to start in or outside the Manor House, I would guess.
Very possible.
Yeah, unless they're going to incorporate Resident Evil 0, but if they're doing Resident Evil 1, then yeah, I would suspect it's going to focus on that house. I think from what I read too, it's going to it'll have some of the house and it'll sort of start dipping into Resident Evil 2 stuff in terms of moving through the town, Raccoon City and all that, so... But that sounds much better than the Mila Jovovich stuff. Some weird news. Do you guys remember a movie called Orphan back in the day? It was sort of loosely based on a true story.
Never seen it, but I've heard. I know the original story, and I've heard of the movie, but I literally know nothing.
Super quick TLDR was the story goes, and it's never been proven or disproven that there was a Ukrainian or Russian, I think she was, one or the other, a girl who was adopted by a family. Turns out she was actually in her mid-30s or something and had a specific genetic disease and had been trying to seduce the fathers. I think there was a death involved. Crazy stuff. She's always said, no, that's not true. And then people wanted to get bone marrow tests and all this. Crazy. You can look it up. It's a true court case saga. But they made a movie of it.
Wild.
They made a movie of it called Orphan. And they used an actress... for that role, a young actress. She was an actual child, but they're doing a sequel and they're bringing her back in the movie again.
Now, isn't that movie like 10 years old?
Easily. It was 2009. Yeah. So Isabel Furman, who played Esther in 2009 Orphan, is officially returning to the role for an upcoming prequel film. So
okay. So the girl that played the role 11 years ago is going to play a younger version of the character.
I'm going to say CGI is a hell of a thing. Either that or they're just handing out acid tabs as you walk in with your movie ticket.
Here you go. Here's your ticket. Here's your popcorn. Here's your drink. Here's your complimentary LSD.
Right. Interesting. I can't imagine this going to the cinema.
This will be straight to DVD.
It will.
It will be one of those DVDs that only shows up at like dollar stores.
Streaming won't even touch it.
Now, this doesn't surprise me at all, considering we had the biography of Queen and Freddie. And we've had the Elton John, and we've had the others. We're now getting a David Bowie biographical film called Stardust.
He's sitting there like waiting outside his estate for his wife to finally relinquish the rights. They're like, it's been a couple of years, we can finally do it, guys. Let's do it now.
Yeah.
I'll be honest though, I really dug this trailer, and like the first half of the trailer is very like, I don't know, it's very boring if I'm honest. But then when they kind of kick it in and they're like, they do like, because this is before he got famous.
Yes.
Like the whole film basically takes place as a catalyst for the creation of Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah.
And all the stuff that they do before he becomes Ziggy in the trailer is very boring. And I was like,
I think what they're trying to show there, and I could be wrong, I think what they're trying to show there is how boring the system was.
But also, yeah, possibly.
And he came along and was a square peg, and there was only round holes. Because even as much as sort of Freddie Mercury was a little out there, and even if you look at early Elton John, he was a little out there. David Bowie was really fucking out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's
why they say planet.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's possibly why. I'm not going to defend the film, I haven't seen it, but that might be why the first half was a little, in that trailer, looked a bit drab, and then later it gets good, because it's when he finally comes to realize, well, you know, fuck you, I'm gonna be me, yeah, or I'm not gonna be me, as I choose to see fit. So it's interesting. It's interesting, that's for sure.
It definitely piqued my interest, but I don't know. I'm just very cautious going into it again because of how boring the first half of the trailer was.
Nothing wrong with that. It might suck. Who knows? Moving on, we got a trailer for Vanguard from Mr. Jackie Chan. All I can say is I watched the trailer and just went, he's still got it. Like, it's just classic Jackie Chan.
Yeah, I haven't watched this one yet. What was the gist of it?
It's just Jackie Chan doing Jackie Chan shit. I paid no attention to the minimal amount of storyline in that trailer. Most of it is just it's just kung fu. And it looks great.
Yeah, cool.
Some kind of like cop style.
Yeah, which he's done a few times, but it's just it's got the comedy, it's got the action, it's just more Jackie Chan. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, I will wait until a Netflix release or whatever, but yeah.
I just want one more Drunken Master movie. That's all I want. And he won't give it to me.
We got a trailer for Animaniacs, which will be coming to Hulu in the US, and who knows what here, but yeah, they're back.
Yes. I heard. This shit was my childhood.
Same.
And I'm all for it.
I'm so happy that Animaniacs is back. I've said for so many years, like, the Animaniacs is I would cautiously say it is the best cartoon ever made by Warner Brothers.
Yeah. It's up there with Space Jam.
That's true.
Yeah.
Probably not surprising, and I imagine this is going to happen with all of them, but there's is it confirmed? But Loki is being picked up for a second season.
Okay, so the weird thing about this is there's like a schedule. So all the Atlanta places where they produce like TV shows and movies and stuff, they have a schedule that's out way in advance. Someone managed to get an eye on the books and got like a photo of the books, and upcoming, there was a bunch of stuff that wasn't recognized. However, the production name for Loki season 1 is there to film next year at the same place they filmed Loki season 1. And it has
season 2, right?
next to it. Yep. Yeah, so the implication is, at this point it hasn't been confirmed that there's going to be a second season. From what we've been told, a lot of these Disney Plus shows are supposedly one and done. It's just to get more content for this character out there. However, it sounds like Loki could be a multiple season series.
Fair enough. If you don't want any spoilers at all for WandaVision, cover your ears for the next 10 seconds. But there's been a pop vinyl leak that has depicts Quicksilver.
We kind of knew this already.
I think we did.
The rumor was that it's Evan Peters.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the whole blending of the universes and like her reality breaking starting to happen. It's because that's how they're essentially going to start it.
Yeah.
And also with the series being a direct tie-in to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and with the reports going around that we're going to be getting 3 different Spider-Men in the third Spider-Man film. Like, it sounds like everything is just going to be send universes colliding, kind of like what they've done with the DC universe and Arrow, where they've kind of made it all one big multiverse. It sounds like they're going to start progressing everything that way. So yeah.
Some more films that have been, well, not cancelled, but pushed back. Free Guy, which we were so close to getting, is apparently now pushed back. Death on the Nile, and a few other Disney films are all getting the nudge thanks to COVID. Yeah. Sad. So close on Free Guy. So close. Some good news. The Peacemaker TV show is filming soon. I'm
the John Cena Suicide Squad series.
Yep. So I'm sure Lucas is super keen for that. How about you, Jesse? You're a bit of a Peacekeeper fan, or?
So. I honestly haven't really had that much to do with it. I've heard of it in passing, but I haven't really looked into it enough.
Yep, fair enough.
Which makes me sad, but it does sound like it's something that is actually right up my alley. Lots of people have recommended it to me.
Yeah.
Yes, the only way he can make peace is through war.
Yeah, he looks like a bit of a sort of a mashup of Punisher and Judge Dredd.
Yeah, he kind of is.
I have no idea why, because the first one was shit, but apparently Vin Diesel's returning for Bloodshot too.
Yeah, I know.
This was confirmed forever ago. They're doing a Valiant Comics universe.
Can we just fucking do the next and last Riddick? For fuck's sake. Vin, don't make me get on a plane, or I can't. I'll stow away on a fucking boat. I'll come and smack you. Just do the fucking Riddick film.
He's too busy. He's too busy making fucking live feed videos on Facebook, okay?
He is going to get a smack.
He is too busy making banger pop songs. That's what he's doing.
That's true.
Speaking of films we don't know why we're getting sequels to, Gerard Butler is back for another Has Fallen film, number 4 this time. Night Has Fallen. Why?
These haven't actually been too bad. Like, I was only talking to Brandy about this not long before the announcement for this movie came out. Like, there's absolutely nothing else to watch on Netflix tonight. Oh well, guess I'll put this on. They're very America #1 propaganda films, and that's fine because they're just mindless popcorn films.
Let's get this one out of the way. Not that anyone really gives a shit, but there's a Skylines 3 and a trailer.
Jeez, if only someone who was excited about Skyline films was here to talk about it.
Why?
One time this was relevant.
The one time Skylines was relevant is the one time Ethan's not here to just blow it for 5 minutes.
That's great. It saves me cutting out half an hour of just meat slapping noises as he jerks off. Not surprising at all, but it's nice to have it locked in and official. Umbrella Academy has been renewed for season 3 at Netflix.
Yep, especially with everything getting cancelled.
True. So obviously it's doing well.
I've got to admit, I thought because normally Netflix tends to confirm their stuff a week or two after the seasons come out. And that was the kind of running thing for a long time. It was like, this show's been out a week or two. Ooh, guess what? We're gonna do another one. Ooh, and that has now started to fall off.
Yep.
And it's now very long. It's very long between the season coming out and the confirmation that another one's coming. So I was getting a little bit worried, especially with the way the Umbrella Academy season 2 ended. So yeah, super psyched that there's gonna be a third one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few shows that are obviously not going anywhere anytime soon, I wouldn't think. So glad that's one of them. I think The Boys is another one. That did better than Mandalorian, apparently, in terms of view numbers.
That's wild to me.
I was actually going to say, I didn't know if you were going to talk about The Mandalorian, because there's a whole heap of stuff about its numbers it's projecting at the moment.
I haven't seen them. I'm admittedly not a Star Wars fan, so I haven't followed it. But is it in trouble slightly?
I've been following Mandalorian because while I do love Star Wars, and I'm not a happy person when it comes to Disney era stuff anyway, but Mandalorian I think overall is not too bad. And this season so far has been alright, but apparently the numbers it's been posting, there was a whole heap of things on YouTubers that usually have insider information were talking about it, and supposedly Disney are really quite worried about Mandalorian. They have been sending out memos saying something akin to, what are we going to do about this Mandalorian situation? We're posting less than a quarter of what we expected view-wise.
I suspect, and I could be wrong, I probably am wrong, I suspect too, at the moment, for someone who's more of a layman, there's just not enough of a draw card to buy into Disney at the moment. I think even if you were like, man, like I'm not a Star Wars person, so I'm not going to subscribe to Disney Plus just for Mandalorian. Once all this Marvel shit arrives and you've got 2 or 3 seasons of Mandalorian, I might watch it then. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good point.
That's kind of my attitude.
I'm 100% with you there. Like, I know people who said I got Disney Plus so I could watch The Simpsons. And I was like, Jesus Christ, it's like not even Disney stuff that's drawing people here. And, you know, Star Wars too. Like, yeah, it's owned by Disney, but it's not a Disney thing, so no one cares about the rest of Disney Plus. But Mandalorian's pretty good, I think, overall. I'm surprised that it's not getting the viewership that they expected it to, especially considering other stuff that's done so well this year that, by comparison, I can't see how it's better than The Mandalorian. But, I mean, I think, honestly, this is a marketing failure because, like, Mandalorian Season 1, it got marketed really heavily. This year, leading up to its release, we got like, what did we get, a trailer during one of the cons that
we got an announcement date 4 weeks before it aired.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I remember there was like a trailer at some point this year, and then it just was all quiet on the Western Front, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Hey, Mandalorian's coming out soon," and then it comes out and no one cares. And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's what happens when you don't bother marketing." And I think that's because Disney just honestly forgot about it.
Apparently, the Halo TV show is bringing back the original Cortana actress.
Yeah, so this one they'd originally cast another person,
Right.
and now she's been let go. After I'm not sure if it was fan demand or whatever, but basically, yeah, the girl that did the woman that did the voice of Cortana in the original games is coming back to do the voice in the show.
Moving along. Chris Pratt joins cast of Thor: Love and Thunder. So we've definitely got some crossover there. With obviously, I'm gonna guess it it has to be because they blasted off together, didn't they? At the end of
Yeah.
I mean, this was a given. The original plan was that it was going to be Guardians 3. Straight after Endgame. It was going to be Spider-Man and then it was going to be Guardians 3. The whole James Gunn thing happened. Everything's been pushed out, so now they kind of have to try and position the Guardians into a spot for them to be with Thor. So it makes sense that some of the Guardians would be there. It hasn't been really reported, but it hasn't been widespread reported like this has. But apparently Vin Diesel landed in Sydney last weekend.
Oh, good! I can go smack him in the face for not getting on with bloody Riddick.
I was waiting to bring this up, but you only have to fly to Sydney now to kick his dick in.
Yep, he deserves it. Let's see. We've got some. Well, Lucas feels that we've talked about this before, or it's been talked about before, and I don't. And it very well may be, but
I believe this was brought up at the Comic-Con panel.
We have. Let's say then we have. We either have confirmation or we have further confirmation, one or the other, that we are indeed getting a Constantine 2, Keanu Reeves Constantine 2, as now confirmed by Peter Stormare, who plays Lucifer or Satan in that, which was one of the greatest depictions of Lucifer on the screen. He posted to his Instagram saying that it was happening. So, super excited. Hopefully...
It's such a forgotten gem, that movie. Like, people that remember it usually seem to love it.
Yeah, I bust it out every 12 months or so. Like, it's a yearly watch for me.
I mean, I know I'm probably an outlier in it because I do think that the depiction of Constantine in later media has been pretty good, but that first Constantine movie has always been my favorite version of it. Even though he doesn't have ginger hair, I don't care.
Yeah, so hopefully Canoe's coming back for it as well.
No.
Canoe.
Okay.
Hopefully. All right, so we'll leave the last bit. The last bit of news is going to lead into our topic of conversation, and that is that Mr. Johnny Depp has been let go, resigned, fired, departed from, in regards to Fantastic Beasts 3. And
basically, it sounds like he was pushed.
This comes from an ongoing saga between himself and his estranged wife, Amber Heard. We're not going to sort of dive into who did what and all the rest of it, but there are allegations being thrown both directions that both have been involved in domestic abuse. Some will say that Mr. Depp is completely innocent. Others will say that Ms. Heard is completely innocent. We're not going to dissect that. That's not what we're here for. The facts are, though, that he is stepped down or been fired, one or the other. There is currently a petition to have Ms. Heard removed from Aquaman 2. That's at 1.4 million signatures. Oh, it's actually 1,398,604, 5, 6, 7 at the moment, and climbing rapidly. To have her removed, there is some rumblings that may actually happen too, and some theories on what may go on there. But we'll see. She doesn't want to step down though, whereas Depp has. She's like, no, it's not happening. Further to that, there has been apparently discussions, I don't think there's anything locked in, but discussions with Mads Mikkelsen to replace Johnny Depp in Fantastic Beasts 3. And a number of sites reported thus.
I would like Depp to not leave. Basically the firing release, whatever you want to call it, has come off the back of the libel case that
in the UK,
Depp had with the Daily Mirror, Daily Star, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
but basically, he lost the libel case in London.
Yeah, because they called him a wife basher or something, and he fought it.
Well, the reports is that Amber Heard was feeding them information, and then they were using that information to slander him in the press in the UK, which allegedly all the evidence that was provided to them was doctored, and he has evidence, but again, we're not going to go into all of that.
We're not going to go into that. We can also go into the fact that she actually has records for domestic abuse against her previous girlfriend / partner. Ms. Heard, that is. So, like, the spider web goes off in both directions, I feel. And as many have said, they're probably just as bad as one another if you really dug into it. But we shan't go into it.
It's really interesting that the thing with Fantastic Beasts, and what was the other one? There was two things he lost
Pirates,
at the same
wasn't it?
time.
Wasn't it Pirates that he was also a part of?
No, Pirates. They announced a while ago that he was they were rebooting it to refresh it. But there was another. It was Fantastic Beasts, and then he had been cast in something else, and now they've pulled his casting.
Yeah. Now
I can't remember what it is.
Not that I'm going to vilify him.
This has all come off the back of the libel case, which is really interesting. Like the timing of it is just very peculiar.
Unlike we've had a lot of other sort of controversies the last couple of years, the whole Me Too movement, that sort of stuff, and a lot of that was proven. Some of it was disproven, and there was like a few false alarms. I think being that this is a libel case too, and it's not like there's been, as far as I'm aware, no sort of charges pressed on either. From what you're seeing in the media, at least at this stage, I would say that Depp is still very bankable, and I can't see this having. While it might have some impact on his career, I don't think it's going to shut him down just yet. He's getting an awful lot of support from his fans.
Yeah. I don't see this as being like the killing blow for Johnny Depp.
No, and unfortunately for Heard, I think this could roll back on top of her if she's not careful.
I think it is rolling back on top of her. I think it's just a matter of time, honestly. I think she might have, like not having like not drawing like to sides of either side of this like conflict or anything, but it seems to me that she has, if the fans want her out of Aquaman and she stays in, then it's most likely industry connections that are keeping her in. So at the end of the day, if you lose the fans and you lose the general public, all you've got are your friends in the industry, and they won't keep you around forever if you end up making business deals for them harder with. Yeah,
it's really hard too, because like for all we know, he might have built the shit out of her every night of the week, and she's got a genuine claim to everything that she's saying. We just don't know the facts.
No, that's
but
right.
Yeah, I think regardless of whatever did happen, I'm just saying I think he's still got a lot of forward momentum. I think he's still bankable, and I think she's going to have a hard time, for right or wrong. That's just my expected outcome. So, whatever the reason, don't belt your partner. Don't belt anybody. It's not cool. All right. So before we then jump into our juicy list of other actors and actresses and what have you that got fired, just quickly, we do not have much time. What have you watched lately? Just give me the list and like 1 to 5 stars. Jesse.
Well, as I said before, Mandalorian, been keeping up with it. Out of 1 to 5, I'd say 3.5. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. It's better than everything else that came out of Star Wars since Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Are we gonna put Clone Wars into that?
Oh, actually, okay, fine. Live action wise, there you go. Yeah, Rebels, Clone Wars, 100% way better than anything else.
All right. What have you been watching, Lucas?
I can't really think of anything in particular. We were supposed to go and see that freaky movie with Vince Vaughn. It's been playing at the drive-in, so we didn't get to see it this weekend.
Yep.
That dropped on Thursday apparently. So apart from that, I funnily enough watched all of season 1 of Cobra Kai today.
Nice.
15 out of 5.
Oh, you loved
Excellent.
it. Good.
Absolutely brilliant.
Good.
Rest of my time has been taken up with PS5.
Yep, fair enough.
So
Oh, yeah, rub it in.
Miles Morales is excellent.
I sat down and watched the trial of Chicago 7, and I thought that was quite good, actually. I wasn't aware of the story at all, or the news behind it, so it was enjoyable to watch. It was, of course, great to see Sacha Baron Cohen playing a non-comedic role. Yeah, enjoyed it. Would recommend the watch. It's not a super deep film, but you want to have a bit of a thinking cap on. I also watched New Mutants, and the nicest way I could put it is if you remember like things, video games, or where they kept getting delayed, and then people would rewrite. Like Duke Nukem Forever was one. New Mutants, I don't know if that's the case with Mutants, but that's what it feels like. The story is a fucking mess. It's a train wreck. And
I've been meaning to watch it. I really, I've been waiting, same as you guys. I've been waiting forever, and I've heard awful things.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I don't want to go too long here, but it's just the pacing is really bad. It's like I get motion sickness from how quickly it goes at one moment, and then slows down the next, and then there's just things that don't make sense at all. And I won't go into spoilers, but there's a scene where there's a character who has the ability to largely teleport, right? And there's a scene where she's being trapped in a like a I don't want to say what, so she's just trapped. And she could easily teleport out, chooses not to. Like, there's just no reason why. There's another scene where she sees something, and she's really scared, and then 5 seconds later, she's like, I'm going to kick its ass. I'm so badass. And it's just, I'm sure the actress is just doing what is on the script and what she's told, but it looks like, it almost feels like 3 or 4 scripts kind of stitched together, and it just doesn't work. It's artificial. There's probably people that'll disagree with me, but that's just my thoughts.
So would you believe that film that you got was the film rewritten and then unwritten and then stitched back together?
Yeah, I would believe that. And it
because
shows.
Purely from Fox.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, I didn't think much of it. And I think it's probably going to get largely forgotten too, because it's kind of the tail end of what Fox was doing, and now we're going to get the whole thing scrapped as we move into Disney anyway. So I think it's going to be sort of wedged in between bigger books and just forgotten. And it's unfortunately not a particularly good film. I'm going to bang through this list of actors who have been fired real quick, and feel free to pipe in with some comments, but let's not get too lengthy.
Can I jump in and say two probably the most famous ones real quick?
No, we're going to do this list. And I bet you we'll hit your famous ones as we go down. If we don't, you can throw them in at the end. How does that sound?
All right.
So I'm just going down. This is an article on Collider.com, so full credit to them. I'm just banging down their list. It's quite lengthy. Edward Norton, the Hulk. So it's no secret he fiddled with the script quite a bit in Hulk, and he wanted to fiddle with it more going forwards, and Marvel didn't want to let him. So out you go.
He wanted to make a real dark Bruce Banner. And elements of that are in the Avengers when he talks about the whole putting the gun in the mouth and the other guy spat the bullet out. Like, that was originally an Edward Norton concept for a eventual Hulk sequel that never came to be. But yeah, he wanted to take it in a way darker direction than what Marvel had wanted.
In the end, I like Norton, but I'm glad we got Mark Ruffalo. I think he is the perfect Bruce Banner. But yeah, it would have been interesting to see what he did though.
Natalie Portman, Romeo and Juliet. So apparently they thought she looked too young, and that it would be kind of creepy to have Leonardo DiCaprio kissing her. Like they even comparing the love scenes to molestation. So apparently she looked too young for Juliet.
Which is weird because Claire Danes looks too young for that film.
Yeah, Claire Danes does look very young.
Like, she looks like she's 14. Like, how much worse could Natalie Portman have been?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, Megan Fox, Transformers. I think we've all heard this one. I believe she had some anti-Semitic remarks. She used to call Michael Bay Hitler or something. Anyway, Steven Spielberg heard her and went, "Ha, you're not working in Hollywood anymore." And that was pretty much the end of her forever. She didn't get just fired from Transformers. She pretty much got fired from everything.
Hollywood.
Yeah. You got to be careful of Steven Spielberg. Here's one. I knew that this actor had played this role. I didn't know why he'd been replaced, and apparently this has quite recently been revealed as to why. And that was James Remar in Aliens. He was originally brought on to play the part of Hicks. which was replaced at the
Michael
last
Biehn's
minute by
character,
Michael
right?
Biehn. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason he got replaced, they busted him for drug possession.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. I knew that he got replaced. I thought he'd gotten sick or something, but no. Apparently, drugs. So don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, just say no, kids.
Marcus Chong, The Matrix. So you may have remembered him as the operator.
Oh.
He didn't turn up in the sequel.
Yes.
So
I remember it.
yeah, so basically he was just a pain in the ass, and they didn't want him back. And then he went on to be an even bigger pain in the ass, even going up like prank calling the Wachowskis and all sorts of stuff, stealing food, crashing press junkets. Like he just went off rails.
That was after. So what happened was his character was killed off between The Matrix 1 and 2. So he was a dick on the set.
Yeah,
So they just decided that they weren't going to bring him back, and they were not going to kill the character off screen, and because his brother is still in it, right? No, his brother died. Fuck, I can't remember. But basically, they killed his character off screen. So all that stuff of him acting like a total lunatic happened after The Matrix 2 came out.
Mm.
And he went off the rails real.
Ryan Gosling, the Lovely Bones, who was originally supposed to play the father, Gosling got it in his head that the character was going to be fat, so brought himself up to sort of 210 pounds or so. I think it was. And then Jackson said, nope, and replaced him with Mark Wahlberg.
Imagine passing up Ryan Gosling no matter what his size is.
Yeah, for Marky Mark of all
Mark
people.
Wahlberg, of all people. Come on.
No, what a shame.
Well, speaking of fat, Julianne Moore, Can You Ever Forgive Me? She wanted to wear a prosthetic nose and a fat suit. And the director, Nicole Holofcener, let her go as a result.
Yeah, I think this is a real shame. This is a real shame. She's such a good actress, and like, they could have worked around this. Was this really was this her fucking hill to die on?
Yep. So here's
Damn it.
Here's a few obvious ones that everybody's heard of. We don't need to dive into these. Kevin Spacey, House of Cards. We all know why.
What did he do?
Well, yeah. Yeah. Charlie Sheen, 2.5 Men. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Living legend.
Yep. Now here's an interesting one. I did know this one. You might know this one. I bet Jesse knows this one at least. Sylvester Stallone, Beverly Hills Cop. Did you know that one?
I did.
Yeah, so the film was originally written for Stallone, and then he wanted too much control over the script, so he was let go, and then Eddie Murphy came in and they turned it into a bit of a comedy. Essentially, if you want to see that original Beverly Hills Cop, go watch Cobra.
Okay, so
Exactly.
can we talk about this real quick? So he didn't want to do this movie because he didn't have enough control over it, and like, was it too funny or?
No, it wasn't a comedy at all when he was involved.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I misunderstood because I was about to say my whole argument was so he did this because it was too funny, yet he
No.
did Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
No, he kept changing the script. Like, he's like, I want this love interest, and I want this gun, and I want this action scene to happen, and I want this. And then they just said, no, you know what? It's not happening. They parted ways. Murphy came in, and then, yeah. So, yeah. But if you want to see what Stallone had in mind, it was basically Cobra.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I guess Stallone's been like infamous for being like very hands-on, and I think at that point in his career, he was kind of being a bit of a dick about it because obviously he's a very competent filmmaker.
I was about to say coming off the back of Rocky too, you know.
Yeah.
Now, here's an old one that might slip over all our heads, but Judy Garland, who you might know, of course, from Wizard of Oz, actually was let go, depending on who you talk to, in Valley of the Dolls. Again, this came from apparently large demands for rewrites. Wouldn't leave her dressing room, etc., etc. So, I don't know.
Wow.
Judy
Wasn't
Garland
that
had a
the
really
career
hard
too
life.
when she was an alcoholic.
Oh, read her biography, even the short version. Her life is just amazing. Like, she had such a hard time. Like, my heart goes out to her. Like, she just, holy shit.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, this had something like I remember something about her having major alcoholism.
Mate, most actresses
Yeah,
in the black and white days, mate, were on. They'd smoke to lower the sound of their voice, and they were crazy diets to stay thin. Like it was, they abused themselves, man. It was rough.
Yeah,
it was
brutal.
rough. So here's Terrence Howard, Iron Man.
This was going to be the other,
There's your other
this was
one.
going to be the other one. The guy that thought he deserved the same amount of money Robert Downey Jr. did on the second film.
Guy that invented his own mathematics system.
What?
Yeah, he's also he's into numerology as well. He is big on math. He is a big math nerd.
Probably, well, apparently he's not that good at math because he couldn't get paid the same amount as Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Oh.
Zing?
Shannon Doherty, Beverly Hills 90210. So this is classic high school bullshit here. So basically, she pissed off Tori Spelling. So Tori Spelling, who's then her father was the creator of the show, and just got her fired.
Produced the show.
Yeah, so he's just like, I don't like her anymore. Okay, bye.
It just sounds like the whole thing with like, I don't want to play with you anymore, and drops the doll from the fucking Toy Story.
Yeah.
Oh
Now
my
I
God.
knew that this character got recast. I didn't know who it was actually. So this is
No.
the characters I knew, but this is new to me, and that was Stuart Townsend, Lord of the Rings. So he was in Queen of the Damned. He was originally signed on to be Aragorn, and then they realized they'd cast too young, and so Viggo Mortensen was brought in.
What?
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know it was Stuart Townsend.
I didn't even know that Stuart Townsend was going to be in the films.
Can you imagine? Like, seriously, that would have tanked Lord of the Rings. It would have actually ruined Lord of the Rings.
Well, because Aragorn is, well, I mean, once you put makeup and everything on him, but Aragorn was meant to be, older. And they obviously realized it and caught it in time.
Well, also, to be fair, like, Queen of the Damned, like, while it's looked back on incredibly fondly now, like, it didn't do too big at the start. It was a very niche film.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, this, like, people know Stuart Townsend now for Queen of the Damned, but imagine if they had have put him into Lord of the Rings. Like, he could have been a way bigger star.
Yeah, he could have been.
Yeah.
I just
saying
think
that,
that
though, I
he
probably-
was such a bad cast for Aragorn. I think
Yeah.
they dodged a couple of there.
Maybe put him in as Legolas? Maybe?
I think he would have been a great casting as
Boromir?
like Haldir or anyone else. An elf he would have been great for.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking Boromir, too.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Sean Bean, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Sean Bean's got to keep them death numbers up.
Colin Firth, Paddington, the bear. He was.
Was
he-
this something to do with his voice?
Yeah, he sounded far too. Basically, he sounded too beautiful or sexy. Or, well, beautiful was the word they used. So yeah, the reason they got rid of him was Firth was just too beautiful for the part.
Who ended up playing Paddington? I don't even know.
I don't
Because,
know.
I
like,
don't remember.
in saying that, like, Colin Firth does have a wonderful voice.
I love it when he says
and, like,
shit in the King's Speech, whatever it is. He
I
just
was
says-
about to say, could you imagine Paddington
He just
with
goes,
that
"Shit."
list?
I think Colin Firth would have a good voice for Paddington. Like, Paddington's voice is supposed to be charming and beautiful. Like, why would you not have him?
Can you believe that we're actually talking about what the voice of Paddington the bear should be?
Colin Firth.
This is such a
I'm right.
Lisa Bonet, I would say, from the Cosby Show. You might
Lisa-
remember her. So yeah, obviously she was one of the daughters in the show. This is kind of a little bit of irony. She ended up getting involved in some more risque adult work as she got older. There was a nude appearance on a magazine cover, yada yada yada. And then when she fell pregnant, Cosby used it as the reason to kick her off the show. So
This is probably one of the biggest two ones out of the 80s with her and the mother from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, I remember being as a kid, because these shows came out before I was born. But, like, I remember, well, no, it's not Fresh Prince. Like, Fresh Prince was, like, mid-90s. But I remember even 10 years after the whole Lisa Bonet thing, like, that was still a controversy. And the mum from Fresh Prince, that was still a controversy. They're just such iconic firings for, people living their life,
yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Predator. So against Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was originally the Predator alien. Did his costume chests and whatnot, and what they found was that he just wasn't capable enough. Well, he wasn't able to be flexible enough, jumping around and stuff while wearing the costume, and so he was let go and replaced with Kevin Peter Hall, and then they redesigned the outfit and they rewrote the script a little bit and everything else. But yeah, apparently it was reasonably amicable anyway when he left. Like, no one was too upset about it. So, but yeah,
It's probably a good thing. Could you imagine, like, I feel like Predator would still be a great movie if he was in it, but I bet the marketing would have been like Van Damme versus Schwarzenegger, and it wouldn't have been a creature. It would have been the star power of Van Damme as the creature.
yeah. Here's one I didn't know. And I haven't watched this movie in a long time. Dick Tracy. Apparently Sean Young was going to be in there originally.
We all know I'm not allowed to say anything about Sean Young.
Yeah. So word is, according to her, she was removed from the romantic lead role in Dick Tracy after she denied Warren Beatty's advances.
Oh.
So again, allegations. It's not whatever have you, but I like Sean Young. You don't like Sean Young, do you?
No, I like Sean Young. I just think that she was absolutely crazy at one point in her career.
Oh, I think she's still batshit crazy. That doesn't bother me.
Probably, but you cautioned me not to say that in case she turned up at my house and tried to kill me.
Yeah, that's just for your own survival, man. Let's see. Oh, here's a big one we've all heard about. We've even seen the pictures. Eric Stoltz, Back to the Future.
Oh, wasn't he a dick?
Well, apparently that's why he got fired. He was just a bit of a jerk.
Huge dick.
This is probably, I'd say, the most famous recasting in pop culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of, definitely.
Probably.
Yeah. It's a big one.
It's one of those little tidbits that like people seem to share with each other, and like everyone knows it because someone told them, or they were a big fan and they found it out. It's just it's almost like ingrained into Back to the Future now.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, Eric Stoltz went on to do Not a Great Deal, and Michael J. Fox got rocketed forwards, and it was only because of his Parkinson's that he really had to slow down. I'm sure otherwise I mean, I know he's doing voice, but I'm sure he'd still be doing a lot of acting and stuff, you know, today if he didn't have his Parkinson's, so.
It's a real loss, what happened to Michael J. Fox.
Yeah. So that's the list I've got here. There's a couple in there, but I skipped over them. Was there anything else, anyone else that you thought of that I didn't mention in that list?
Nah, my two big ones were going to be Terrence Howard and Ed Norton.
Yeah, soon to be on that list. Amber Heard. Oh, got her.
Honestly, let's hope. Like, you know, I don't normally call for this type of stuff unless people have kind of done real bad shit, and the fact that it feels like Johnny Depp's slowly losing everything right now, where she is continuing to act on as if everything's fine.
Yeah.
I think is just wrong.
Yeah. So here's the thing though, is like, you know, not, again, like you said, not going into because it's all speculation, we don't know the story. I think the other side of like hirings and firings in Hollywood, especially when it comes to messy things like this with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, is like, I think it's also going to be interesting seeing going forward what degree the public plays in these things. Like you said, you know, there's a petition for Amber Heard, and if it's a valid response for people to say oust Amber Heard, and it turns out she is a horrible person and whatever, then, you know, it's a great thing that the studio listen to people saying get rid of her if they do. But what if it's the other way around? What if she is actually not a horrible person? You know, or what if it was someone completely different? What if it was like Patrick Wilson, and everyone said, "Oh, I heard Patrick Wilson is a wife beater, get rid of him, we don't like him," and then end up being a mob of like mentality, wiped him out? Is like, does that set a dangerous precedent?
Yeah, that's definitely a conversation for another day.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's a tricky situation.
It is. Yeah, it is, because you could, if she is absolutely innocent and gets ousted, then what sort of precedence does that set? It creates a problem.
Yeah. On a lighter note though, if she does go, who would you recast for Mira?
There's been talks of what's her face from Game of Thrones, the Aussie actress.
I heard Amelia Clarke.
Yeah, Amelia Clarke. Yeah.
Okay.
She's American.
Amelia Clarke. I thought she was. No, I'm pretty sure she was an Aussie.
Was she? I thought that.
I'm gonna look this up. Amelia Clarke was born. Oh no, they were both wrong. She's a pom.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
Pom. That's what I meant. Duh.
Actually, we shouldn't say that. Some people take offence to that. I don't know why, but anyway, she is British.
Yeah.
She was born in London. Amelia Isabel Euphemia Rose Clarke. Yeah,
She
so
went
she's
to
the.
her first job out of acting school, which was the main one in London. I can't think of what it's called. Was Game of Thrones. Like,
pretty much.
she was essentially like, a baby being dropped straight out of the womb
And doing
into this fucking massive.
doing sex scenes with Jason Momoa. Yeah, great, awesome.
Oh, don't!
She did.
Don't say that. Not the way that I just fucking compared it. Come on.
Wouldn't it be fun
But-
if they did cast
But
her, though? Because-
she got control of her shit real quick and was like, "No more of that. No more of that." Yeah, she wisened up. No, she's gone on to have a really good career too. She's done some great stuff. So yeah, I could see her filling that role. I mean, it's not a huge role anyway, to be honest. I don't know.
Well, apparently it got a bit bigger in Aquaman 2.
Might get a little
Yeah.
bit smaller real soon. That might be the
Yeah,
happy
the-
halfway for Warner Brothers. They might just go, yeah, you're still in it, but those extra scenes you had, you're nah.
Yeah, apparently the role was supposed to be expanding.
I think they should just cast Jeff Goldblum and be done with it.
I did see someone has did a fucking Photoshop and put Johnny Depp's head on Amber Heard's body, saying Johnny Depp for Mirror.
It's like a bad Photoshop of like him at a press release with like all his scarves.
Oh no, this was a phenomenal picture. Like, it took me a second to realize it was Johnny Depp's face. Like, it was that good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it and I'll send it to you. But holy shit, I was rolling.
So I have had a look through some lists for everything coming up soon on the streaming services, and apart from the sort of the big shows that we're already aware of, like Mandalorian Season 2, it's mainly just reruns, guys. TV shows, movies, everything else, it's reruns. We'll get a few new bits for Christmas, but we'll talk about them in the next podcast. But over the next 2 or 3 weeks, unfortunately, apart from those couple of big shows, like big TV shows that are running currently, it's just rerun central from what I can see.
Time to have a Christmas movie podcast. It's got to fill time.
The only thing I can think of is that's coming out in the next couple of weeks is Big Mouth. The new season of that drops on December.
Yeah.
4th?
Oh, does it?
Yeah, the trailer for it came out the other day. Yeah, December 4th.
Oh.
the trailer's funny because Coach is just like, "We're back, bitches!"
I'm actually a fan of Big Mouth as much as people seem to hate it sometimes.
Fantastic show. It's really gross, but it is very funny.
But it's surprisingly smart sometimes.
I just love all the cast that's in it. Like, I'm a big fan of everyone in that cast. But there's the Big Mouth, and then we didn't talk about it. I don't know why it wasn't in the list. WandaVision apparently is going to be mid-January.
Right.
Yeah, so I do remember that was kind of half confirmed.
Kind of going back to earlier when we were talking about Johnny Depp's being like fired from Fantastic Beasts. How do you guys feel about the recasting? Because I'll be honest myself, like I think it's unfortunate to see Johnny Depp go just because, like you said, he's having a bit of a rough time. I mean, hey, who knows? It might be well deserved if the allegations are true or not. But I actually am not the biggest fan of him in Fantastic Beasts myself, so I'm actually really, if Mads Mikkelsen does pick it up, I'm actually really looking forward to that. I think that's a really, really good recast.
Yeah, I feel that the Johnny Depp going the way he's going out, I feel is unfortunate.
Yeah.
However, the trade-up is huge.
Absolutely.
Please put Mads Mikkelsen in everything. Mads Mikkelsen for Mirror, please. Because just put him in anything, and I'll watch.
Oh, what if we get him for Grindelwald and we get Felicia Jones or whatever her name was,
Felicity Jones.
Felicity Jones from Rogue One as Mira. Done.
Oh, I still want to see Felicity Jones's Black Cat. Oh, there's a reality where that exists, and I'm very upset that it's not this one.
Right. Well, I got some good news and some bad news.
Okay.
The good news is we're probably going to have a whole bunch of really cool and exciting things to talk about in the next episode. Bad news is we run out of time.
Womp womp.
So, thank you, gentlemen, for jumping on the show with me this evening. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Tress.
And thank you to all our Patreon supporters. Help make this podcast possible. Thank you to everybody that listens. Our numbers have been pretty good lately, actually. It's not huge. We're not going to take over the world anytime soon, but it's nice to know that somebody's listening. Validates us, which is great. So hello to you, whoever's listening right now. Thank you. We'll be back in another probably 3 weeks. We'll hopefully be leading into some Christmas stuff and hopefully some more good news. Hopefully we can start getting some movies in the cinema. We were so close. So it would be great to sort of start seeing not just one film a month, but a few things starting to trickle out. Obviously, no word on Wonder Woman yet, so hopefully that's still going ahead for Boxing Day. That'd be nice.
No, Wonder Woman got pushed.
Oh, poop.
Let me
So there's just bugger all hitting the cinema. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
sad.
And
But
it's
we'll be
very
back
missing, right?
in 3 weeks, and we'll have a whole bunch of news and trailers and hopefully some more positive, optimistic stuff about what's coming soon. Until then, look after yourselves. Stay indoors if you can. Stay healthy. wear your mask if you've got to, all that jazz. And we'll catch you in the next episode. Meow 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 meow. Ha ha ha.